Morning! In today's video, ladies, we are going to be doing a highly requested tutorial. That would be my face shaving and brow trimming routine. And we may even throw in a little bit of nose hair trimming. Before we dive into the tutorial, I do want to share with you what my thoughts on facial hair on women is. I also want to talk about the different methods that are out there, both in a med spa and in the home, to remove facial hair. And then we will also talk about the different tools that you can use to remove the hair. First, start off by saying that if you have facial hair, or what I would rather call peach fuzz, and it doesn't bother you one bit, then by golly, you go ahead and keep sporting that peach fuzz. We all get to do whatever we want with our face. For myself, I personally do not like it on myself. One of the big reasons is I am a makeup wearer, and if there's one thing that I can say about removing that peach fuzz and having that smooth canvas to apply your makeup, it is a game changer. I love the way that my makeup applies. I love the way that it looks. We all are gonna have a different amount of facial hair. If you are dark haired, chances are it's going to be very visible to the eye, but a lot of blondes have peach fuzz as well, and sometimes they have just as much, if not more. I think a lot of time blonde beauties think that because their hair is light, nobody will notice it, but I am here to tell you it is definitely very noticeable. You may not notice it as much when you're getting ready in the morning and you're looking in your bathroom mirror, but once you get out into natural light and you turn your head different angles, it is very prominent to see that peach fuzz on the side of your face. I've noticed it with a lot of blondes, almost more than brunettes, and I think a lot of it is because brunettes are removing their facial hair because it's dark. But you blondes, believe me, we can see it. Again, if it doesn't bother you, keep sporting it. But it is definitely noticeable, and I do want to make that very, very clear, highly noticeable. Many ladies' biggest concern with face shaving and hair removal is that your hair is going to grow back like man hair. Well, I'm here to tell you it doesn't. We don't produce enough testosterone to produce that type of hair, so that does not need to be your worry. It will grow back just as it did. Once you tap into doing it, you're gonna wonder, where has this been my whole life? Again, you are going to love it and you are going to be hooked. Everybody that has started doing it since finding out about me, because I've shared it and done tutorials many times on Snapchat, they are like, oh my gosh, game changer. This is the wow effect when it comes to applying makeup. Now let's talk about the different methods for removing facial hair. You could spend the money and go to a med spa and do laser hair removal. In fact, I did that about 12 years ago. I went through a whole series, the entire series as a matter of fact. I had laser hair removal done on several areas of my face as well as on my body, and I loved it and I thought it was worth every penny, but it's very pricey to do, so you have to decide for yourself. When I had it done, I had the chin area done, I had the upper lip done, I had right here in between the eyebrows done. They have a little bit harder time getting close to the eye, so I was only able to do right here. I don't remember if they did any above, but those were the areas that we tackled, and I had great results. What you generally want to do is go back about once a year or maybe every 6 months for touch-ups. I didn't do that after doing my 6 series of laser hair removal, but again, I had wonderful results. I really didn't start getting hair issues until I hit the perimenopause age, and now what happens is I don't produce a lot of hair in those areas. If I do, they are going to be those long, and I know many of you ladies are going to know exactly what I'm talking about, but they're the long dark hairs that just kind of creep up overnight. You're like, you weren't there yesterday, but now you're an inch long. How does that happen? And they tend to be more on the chin area and even more on the jawline. So that is something you want to pay attention to when you're plucking those hairs, is lift up and look along the jawline. There's nothing attractive about seeing a long dark hair on a lady. The other place that sometimes I will get a few stragglers of that darker, coarser hair is right here on the mustache. But other than that, I've had great results with laser hair removal. There is also a procedure called Derma Planing. I'm not really super familiar with it. I've never tried it. It would be something if you wanted to look into. It's going to be great exfoliation, but any type of shaving is great exfoliation. That's why men tend to have younger looking skin than women, because they shave and they're constantly exfoliating those dead skin cells. but you could check out Derma Planing. I am not interested for myself because what I do is quick, easy, and it gets the job done, and I'm definitely that type of person. If it's not broken, why fix it? And the way that I do my shaving works for me. It's not broken, and I love it. That pretty much covers what you can do in a med spa. You also have the option to go to a spa and have waxing done. I think the thing with waxing, besides the ouch factor, because waxing is not the most comfortable thing in the world, especially for the whole face, is that if you have sensitive skin, you could end up having a little bit of irritation, and that is something that I do hear about. I don't have that problem. I have waxed way back in the day before I did laser hair removal. I did the eyebrows and the mustache. I'd be a little pink, but in a few hours I was fine. But some people definitely get some little red bumps and have some irritation with that. The last thing I want to talk about is what I do, and that would be what you would call in-home shaving the face. I love it. It's fast, it's easy, and it's cheap. And what's not to love about saving a buck or two for something else that's bigger and better? If you want to save yourself the time and the money and do at-home shaving your face, there are different razors that you can use, and I have tried, I think, every single one of them, and I have really just narrowed it down to a cheap disposable razor does the job for me. But let's talk about some of these razors that you can use. We have these little types of razors. They're actually called eyebrow trimmers. The ones that I have liked the best are called Tinkles. Don't ask me why they're called Tinkles. I will link them below. I will link everything that I talk about below. But yeah, Tinkles are the best, and that's what I started face shaving with. And initially I really thought that I liked them because I didn't have anything to compare them to. There are knockoff ones, and that's what I have here. You can get them at Walgreens, Rite Aid, Sally Beauty. You can get them at a lot of different places. But what I have found out is that the Tinkles worked best when trying them because I did try the knockoff ones. So I'm not super crazy about these, but they are definitely an option. Another option is just cheap razors. The only thing that I would look for in the cheap razor, you could get these at a Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Aldi, any place cheap. All your different stores have the cheapest ones. The important thing with these is you just want to make sure they are a triple blade. They have 3 blades. That's very important. I have found out that the double blade are not as good. So you have these, and this is one of my favorite. Right here is the disposable. The other option you would have is one of the razors that you can purchase where you buy refillable cartridge. This one is the Gillette Sensitive. This is what I use on my legs. I have used, but I am almost thinking that they discontinued the Sensitive. So you would just want to get the Gillette Mach 3. And let me just tell you, ladies, it's not sold in the ladies razor department. It's sold in the men's. I love a men's razor. Again, this is what I use on my legs. The nice thing is it's a triple blade. You can refill the cartridges, and this will do the trick too. So it's whatever you want. I mean, to me, I'm just gonna go with one of these two because I think they're more handleable. But when we do the tutorial, I'm gonna kind of show you the different razors and how they're used. So that will give you an idea. What you're gonna have to do is find out what works for you. That's the biggest key. Let's talk about a couple other little tools that you are going to need to take care of your face and nose hair. First of all, you are going to need some little tweezers. My favorite ones are the Tweezerman Mini Slant. They come in different colors. These are the best tweezers. I've never found anything that works as good as these. Don't worry, I will have them and everything else linked below, but you're gonna need those. The other thing that you're gonna need is some little scissors like these. You wanna make sure they're the pointy tip. You don't want the cuticle ones. You don't want them curved at the end. They need to be pointy. A lot of times they're called mustache scissors. These are the best. This is what you're going to need. Another important tool that you are going to need is some type of little spoolie type thing that you would use for brows. This one here is on one end of my Brow Wiz brow pencil. I also have another one here. It's a little bit bigger. This is on my dual-ended brow brush. But it doesn't matter what you use. Don't worry, I will link both of these below, but you're gonna need something like that as well. The last thing that I want to talk about before we get into the tutorial is when do I shave my face? Well, first of all, let me just say it's going to be different for everybody. So this is an area that you're going to want to play around with because it's going to depend on how much hair you're producing. I do my face shaving about once a week. When do I do it? I do it in the morning after I get out of the shower. I have my hair up in one of those Turby Twist towels. I make sure my face is completely dry so it is not still moist from getting out of the shower. I wait a few minutes until it is completely dry. I don't put anything on my face. I dry shave my face. So again, no moisturizer, no nothing. When I do my face shaving, I use a double-sided lighted makeup mirror. I'm not gonna share the one that I use because it's old. It is not the one I would purchase. I have a new one on the bucket list. I will link that one below. It's a little bit pricey, but I think it's gonna be worth it. I've done plenty of research, but you are definitely gonna wanna make sure that one of the sides of the lighted makeup mirror has the magnifying side. All right, we are ready to do the tutorial. Before we dive in though, real quick, I just have to tell you, you are going to find out that the beginning of the video I have blue nail polish on, and the end of the video I have blue nail polish on, but the tutorial I have, I think, a pale pink. There's a reason for that, and if you really want to know why, because I'm sure somebody is going to notice this, I left a little tidbit in the drop-down box below because we had a botched video that was very blurry, so I had to retape a few pieces of the video. So anyway, you'll want to check that out. But all right, let's back up the tape and let's get on with the tutorial. I am back, fresh out of the shower. This is what I look like when I get ready to start doing my brow trimming and face shaving. I'm sorry, I apologize. I believe the intro and the exit to this video is going to be... The important thing is the tutorial is in focus, so I hope that it is. I generally start with my brows, but I do want to share with you, I touch up my brows daily as I do my makeup. So after I do my brow makeup, that's when I can see if I have any little stray hairs that I want to pluck. When I do my brows, I like to use a little spoolie. I have one on the end of my double-ended eyebrow brush, and I have one on the end of my eyebrow pencil. Don't worry, both of these products are going to be linked below. What I do to get started is I go to one of my brows, and I like to use the spoolie and comb my brows up in the direction that they are going to go. Again, because I maintain doing this every day, I'm not going to have a lot of extra hair coming up, but when you first do that, you are going to see there are going to be some long hairs. Then you want to take your little scissors and you want to clip any of those hairs that are coming up above. Again, I wish I had some to really show you, but I really don't. Let's try this side and see. There might be a little bit more on this side. Let's see. Okay, if you can see, I don't know how much you can, you'll see there's a few hairs coming up above the top, and I want to clip those hairs. So I run my little scissors like that, clipping those hairs right along my brow, natural brow line. And let me also mention that I do have my lighted makeup mirror on the regular side right now, but we will move it to the magnifying side when we start the plucking process. The other thing I do after I comb them up is then I comb them downward, and if I have any long hairs hanging down too low, I will clip those ones. Again, my brows I maintain on a regular basis. I don't know if you can see those long hairs coming down. So I really don't have to do a lot of work because I'm constantly maintaining them. And then I just cut along the natural brow line when I'm doing that. So up and down is the way that I do it. From there, I am going to move up close. So I am going to put my lighted makeup mirror up to the magnifying, and then I kind of pull up slightly and I start plucking any little stragglers that don't belong. And again, I wouldn't have a ton because I'm constantly keeping up with this, and that is how I would do it. I don't know if you can see this one, I can right here, I have a gray one. So if I find a little gray one, I take that out as well. And we missed it, so let's go after it again. Got it that time. That's basically how I do it. But again, I think it is the easiest to do once you have your brow makeup done. From there, ladies, we move on to nose trimming, and I don't want to share too much and get too invasive, but you're going to need those little mustache scissors. Some people like to pluck. I don't pluck. I just like to trim with my scissors. You want to get your mirror on the magnifying side, and you want to tilt it at an angle where you can tilt your head back, see up your nose. You are going to push your nose in all different directions and angles so that you can see up in there. I am not sensitive to this. You may be a little bit ticklish and sensitive to begin with if you're not used to doing it, but I assure you, you will get used to it. And then I just take the little pointy side, I go up in there and I clip away, especially getting into this inner part and then all around the surface. So again, don't want to share too much, but that's what I do. And seriously, who does that? I do. Who shows this stuff? Me. Another thing that this razor that I shared with you earlier would be good for, if you didn't want to use it for your whole face, is to get rid of any of those little peach fuzzy hairs to shape the brow like this. Actually, I'm enjoying this. I haven't used this in a while, so enjoying it. Just be careful, be detailed. You can have your, play around with your mirror to see if you want it close or a little bit further away. Right now, I don't have it on the magnifying side, but that will get rid of some of that fuzz. I don't get too much in here because, like I said before, I've had laser hair removal right here, so I don't get much hair there. If you haven't, that's probably a big plucking zone for you. We're going to move on to face shaving. So if you wanted to try out a little device like this, you want to go in the opposite direction that your hair would grow. So you would want to go in an upward motion like this. This side might be a better view. And I get up as far as I can. You kind of can just see what I'm doing, no rhyme or reason. If you wanted to use a razor, kind of the same type of thing. I like the razor better. I don't know why, but I just think there's less air with the razor. You know, I should kind of back up real quick though. I kind of missed a little bit of a step. Before I actually face shave, I pluck any long hairs. So I get my magnifying side and I look for, and see, I do see some. They're usually around the chin area. You want to tilt backwards. And even look down in this area. Down right here underneath your chin. That's a little target zone. Especially for us hormonal women. Meaning like going into a menopause age, perimenopause. You really get those a lot down there. But then you can take, now I'm going to my regular side. And then I would just shave away. No rhyme or reason really. Don't overanalyze it. I go in all different directions, but I do like to get down in this area right there. Just like that. Well, there you go, ladies. Face shaving, brow trimming, nose trimming tutorial. So hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, don't forget to leave them in the drop-down box below. Don't forget all the links will be provided to anything that I talked about here, as well as the corresponding blog post, as you know. Don't forget that I am on all social media sites. Stay tuned. I'm going to do my AM skincare routine because that kind of coincides with the face shaving, because what do we move on to? We move on to our AM skincare. I have some great content coming up, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget, if you want to find out immediately when I publish that stuff, you're going to want to subscribe to not only my YouTube channel, but my blog as well, and you can get to those links below. Thank you so much for being here today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.